What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. Good day or evening to everyone out there in the decoding in sports world. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality. And today we're going to be breaking down and decoding the Super Bowl number 55. This will be the part 2, the post-game series of Super Bowl number 55. If you haven't seen my first one, please check it out. But this is going to be the part 2, breaking down kind of the constructs of the game. And I got some really good material to show each and every one of you. And again, remember folks, in the beginning of my videos, I say these are my opinions and truths. It's up to you to use your own logic and discernment. I'm not here to force my truth on you. Yes, I'm very stern and rigid in my beliefs, but aren't you? All of us are. So let's get into the topics of this presentation. I don't have a ton of slides. It's going to be a rather short one. But in the zero position, the intro, which is what I'm doing now, we're going to be talking about this Super Bowl, and I'm going to show you the numbers. And folks, I'm going to show you once again through this model, this methodology, that man is being used. The men on the football field, it's just like fantasy football. It's just like a video game kind of football, where someone's holding the remote and you're playing like Madden, EA Sports Madden. You've seen that game. Clearly, when you take a look at the screen right here, here is a snapshot of Madden NFL football being played out. And folks, look how real it looks. This is the technology that we've got to on the world stage. It looks almost like the real thing, like watching a real football game. Why is it impossible for some people to believe that we're not in control of things? We're being controlled remotely. And just like when you pick up the remote control to play your Sony PlayStation or what have you, you're in control of the players and the plays, and you get to pick who you throw the ball to. So why is it so far-fetched for people to believe that we're being used and controlled? And why would that be? And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to break it down, folks. So in the number 1 position, we're going to get into the halftime show, The Weeknd. The man who sang during the halftime show. What does he got to do? Folks, when I show you the syncs, I'm going to show you clearly that man could never code at this level. There's too many moving parts. We're going to get into this final score in position number 2. Number 3, we're going to decode sports. I'm going to show you what it's all about and what it leads to. Number 4, the guy who is the father of American football. Wait till you see this guy. And then number 5, what is it you saw during this presentation? Love to always hear from you great decoders. So here we go, folks. Topic number 1, the man who sang during the halftime show, The Weeknd. God, this is... Folks, I'm gonna first... No, actually, I'll do that after. But here we go, folks. Here is this guy and the breakdown of Mr. Abel, because that's his real birth name. Right there in numerology at the very top, left-hand side, Abel. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'll mispronounce it. But look at what it is. And, you can go biblical, Cain and Abel. It's got a little bit of funny parts in there. Not saying Abel's funny, but just how you can relate it to theology. But it's the number 69. What is 69? It's the freaking yin yang. Now, I know a lot of people may have that number, but wait till you see the syncs that I show you. And a big shout out to Joe, Because Joe, I was doing the slides at the same time. Joe was posting something on this exact piece right here, and it was complete synchronicities. I was working on this presentation, and Joe posted it, so nice job, Joe, on the eyes. But there it is, folks. See, he was born on February 16th. Otherwise, rewritten or written as 2-16 or 2.16. Which is, this is why it's, you say, okay, man's coding it. Okay, well, do you realize that you'd have to have all players on the field in on it? You'd have to have all the coaches in on it. You'd have to have all the referees and the line judges and everybody else in on it, because if someone makes a mistake, there goes the score. It's too perfect, folks. There's the halftime score. 21-6 Buccaneers, and there is the birthday of the guy who sang during the halftime show. You see the connection there, folks? There it is. It's right there. It's just not exactly the same, but it's the same. And that's why man could never code at this level. It's too complicated. And I watched some of the second half, and I saw the number. I saw a lot of symbology in the game. I saw a lot of numbers. Folks, you realize how many people would have to be in on this to get all those symbols locked up and all the things that you're seeing behind the scenes besides what you're seeing on the front of everything going on? It's just not possible, folks. There's the total score added up of both teams during the halftime. 27 total points, which is a match of the word currency, which I've been completely showing. That's what we're being mined for, our energetic currency. Everybody that tuned in to the Super Bowl, who gets all that energy? It's got to go somewhere. Well, if you understand how metaphysics works, when you understand how physics works in torus fields, when you get into real science, scrape away all the little things that we know, it comes down to energetic vibrational frequencies, currency, dielectricity, magnetism, and electricity. And this is a perfect example of that. Currency. Tampa equals 27. If you watch the first of my decode on there, the 27 was all over the place. And so there it is. Folks, what would the odds be of this guy that he goes by, Abel? He goes by the weekend, and that's how he spells it. That's the standout. You could say, it'd be the is 14. And whenever you put the in front of anything, the equals 14. Same as time, same as God, the time God. So it owns all the words that you put after it. It's how this works, folks. It's a freaking 27. A match to that currency. A match to the halftime score total. How about that, folks? And the guy sings during the halftime show on his birthday? Is the same thing, adds up to the number. Nonetheless, here is more of the esoteric part of it when you syncretize. And I'm saying, when you add in these other layers, it just strengthens the story of man never being able to code anything like this, because it's just too complex when you go beyond numerology. So 27 is currency. Tied to the guy weekend, tied to the score at halftime. It's this element called cobalt, the chaos and order. That's what this means, CO. Tied to the dragonfly card, tied to the sine and cosine waves that make up our world that we all live out through our emotions. And it's owned by this character right here, just a title. It's called the Puppet Master. It's the Puppet Master, which is tied to Yaldabaoth, the Gnostic demiurge. So let's get into the final score. 31-9. 31's pi. 9 is the repeater of that. And I just have one slide on that, folks. Here it is, using the elements of the periodic table. This is where all the big clues are, by the way. If you're not using these, I'm going to suggest that you start using them, because it defines more of the story. Remember, the Chiefs last year scored 31 points. This year, the Bucs scored 31 points. This is what's pi, 3.1, 3.14. Owned by the Puppet Master. owned by it. So gallium is the 31st element. Its most abundant weight is 68.926. The winning score, 31, by the Bucks, linked to gallium and the number 68. And when you add in another layer, it's erbium. It's the 68th element, and it has an atomic weight of 166. That's tied to this word right there that the Greeks called the God of the Bible the tetragrammaton. Tetra meaning four, the box, the square, the cube that we all live in. In the Chaldean, it's the 47. And I see a lot of decoders out there that they do not even use the Chaldean. I scratch my head. I'm like, folks, if you're a numerologist, the Chaldean is the oldest, and it's the most consistent and most accurate. And I see so many other decoders, they don't even use the Chaldean. I'm like, what's going on? I don't even understand why. Washington, D.C., White House, Georgetown, they all equal 47. Guess who runs Washington, D.C. in politics? Tetragrammaton. Guess who runs sports? Tetragrammaton. There it is right there. This is adding another, every time I add another layer and connect it, it's more and clear and convincing. 58, tetragrammaton, tied to the puppet master 58. I can keep going. I could add septonary. If I did the reverses, I could bring all those in there and really rock your world on this. And put it as ironclad as possible. So let's get into sports itself, because we're talking about sports. And I said man's being used, and energies outside of us are collecting all the gold currency that we're giving off. Think about at a sports stadium when people are there, when they were filled, now everybody's online doing it virtually, but the energy's still going to the same place. I mean, look at that, folks. Sports. What a huge conglomerate it is in itself. It's a freaking 27 tied to the word currency, tied to that element cobalt, which has an atomic weight of 58, the chaos and order. It's the God of the Bible, and it's the puppet master, folks. 58 right there, 27. They're all linked together, all of them. There is no separation. Looking at it through the English, it's the same outcome. Sports 107, currency 107. Look at what element has that 107. It's the 47th element. What's 47? Tetragrammaton. So if you're wondering what the 47 is because it keeps popping up in your decodes and you're not using Chaldean, well, there's your answer. It's the mirror of the 74. You put those two together, you get the number 121. That's the all-seeing eye. That's what runs us. When you bring those two elements together, cobalt from Chaldean, 27, and then silver from the sports through the English, the 107, and you do the alchemy of those, silver and cobalt, using the trusty calculator. Look at what number you get, folks. 166. What's 166? Tetragrammaton. Again, it just gets monotonous. I mean, the code's staring you right in the face. That's what's running man, folks. To what degree, to what level? I can't answer that. I mean, if you do the alchemy of the protons of silver and cobalt, 47 and 27, get out your calculators. You're going to get the number 74, which is the mirror of the 47. And the reason why I have the wolf there, because this is called Wolfram. This is why the elements are where it's at, folks. If you want to get past the basic decoding of just connecting words to numbers, that's easy to do. This is like a bridge, and we're made up a lot of these elements. This is the triple crown element, besides carbon, but there it is. It's otherwise known as wolfram. That's why the W. Tungsten was used in light bulbs. They put it in filaments. What do light bulbs do? They illuminate. Illumination. Illuminati. All of these layers are connected, folks. They run sports. It's not man running the sports. They're just acting out their blueprint. When you bring in, and again, here's more layers. See, every time I add a layer in, it strengthens the story to prove that man's not doing anything. Because you have separate systems. This system is the medicine card deck, 52 cards in the medicine card deck. Let me show you those. If you're new to this, here they are. Instead of using symbols and diamonds and clubs and what the tarot uses, they use animals and insects and rodents and reptiles. And the 15th card is the wolf. What does the wolf start with? The letter W. Wolfram, which is the devil card, folks. This is the 15th card in the tarot. How about that? This was designed hundreds of years ago. This one was designed in 1988, but here we are syncretizing them and bringing them all together. And if you know what the mirror of the 15, it's 51. 51's antimony, the all-seeing eye. 15 plus 51 is 66. Folks, it's so easy to syncretize this when you can see the layers for what they really are. So let's get into I think it's my second to last topic, or my last, the father of American football. This has everything to do, and I'm gonna thank Zach, because Zach commented and he said, "Oh, this guy was a Mason." I don't care what he was, folks. If the thing Zach's missing is he thinks that Masons are in control of things, and they're not. They're just being used. And not everybody's a Mason, folks, and they're getting the same code. I'm not putting down anybody's work. I'm not trying to belittle anything that anybody does. So Zach, if you're listening, man, I appreciate your work. I don't agree with everything that you say. I don't agree with everything you put out there, but I know you put out great work, and that's all that matters. But not every person is a Mason, folks, that are in high positions in this world. You must understand that. Get away from that whole thing. So the father of American football, and Zach had put this out there, but then I looked at his birthday, and there it was, April 7th. What is April 7th? It's 4-7. What's 4-7? 47. What is 47? Tetragrammaton. I mean, think about what NFL is, folks. They play two teams. They both have 11 men on the field. That's 11-11, offense and defense. 11 plus 11 is 22. That's tied to titanium, because titanium's the 22nd element. That's Saturn's moon Titan. And what's titanium's weight? 47. They play with a ball that's in the shape of a vesica Pisces, the womb, the cosmic egg. It's tied to our DNA. It's all esoteric, folks. Man is not controlling any of this. They're just being used. We're a microcosm of the macrocosm. This is no exception right here. And look at this. Look when he died. On a freaking Pi Day. March 14th is 3.14. I mean, what are the odds? Now, do you think, well, people say, well, no, it's rigged. History's rigged. No, well, you think everything is rigged? At some point, you got to draw the line and realize not everything is rigged. There are really things that happen, folks. What would be the point of rigging this guy's death date, by the way? What would be the point? I don't even know the dude. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know you. You don't know him. What would be the point of trying to mock somebody by changing their birthday? For what? In this guy's case. So 47 is his birthday, folks. How about that? Tetragrammaton. I'm going to keep showing it. Because, Zach had said, he went to Yale, and Yale is skull and bones. Yeah, well, there you go. And this is a reason why. And, Zach, if you're listening again, dude, why you're not using Chaldean, bro? You're not using Chaldean, and you're missing out on the biggest numerology cipher on the planet. You're not using it. A lot of you decoders that follow Zach, you don't use Chaldean. I don't know why. It directly connects and gives you way more nuggets than all the other ciphers out there. Skull and bones, 39, folks. If you know what 39 means in numerology, you have more keys. That's why you got to become a numerologist. Can't just kind of connect words together and numbers and say, there it is, there's the code. Because a lot of words equal the number 39. I mean, you break it down, it's 17 and 22. 22 is titanium, that's 47. 17 is the Yod He Vahe. And when you go into when you break it down even more, here you go, keep your eye on the Chaldean. Yod He Vahe right there, 17. You can put it with the W, 17. Okay, there it is, skull. And then bones is 22. 22, when you go to the periodic table, you look at titanium, there it is, folks. Titanium's 47. What is 47? It's the tetragrammaton. There it is, 47, folks. You can't miss it. It's clear, right in staring you in the face. So this is not only just the 39, but it's the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh twice, titanium, Saturn's moon. Saturn is the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Saturn is Chronos. Saturn is Father Time, the time of God, the God time. Time God time, whatever you want to call it. And it's tied to this element right here. Yttrium. Folks, what do you think the odds would be? The guy who created American football goes to Yale, and Yale's first letter is the letter Y? How about that? What a coincidence. But you think man's coding this all like this, all of this. They're all coding it to mock you, to make fun of you, pull the woolly over your eyes. Right here, 88. How many miles an hour did the DeLorean have to get to time travel? 88. Why 88? Because it's the two torus fields in quantum physics. Straight up physics, 88. Study Santos's work. You'll find a lot of truth there. That's why he has almost 200,000 followers. Here's the logo that Yale goes by. What do you see right there, folks? That's Hebrew. Hebrew. It's Hebrew. There's Latin right there. That's how they say it in Latin, but it's Hebrew. It's right on their logo, folks. And here's the breakdown even more. Remember, we're talking about the father of American football, Walter Camp, goes to Yale. Who knows if he was a member of Skull and Bones, but Skull and Bones clearly is tied to the Y, which is 30. It's right there, folks. Look at this. You break it down even more. Yttrium, 22. 22 is titanium. Look at the weight of titanium, 47. What's 47? Tetragrammaton. It gets monotonous. And what's this guy's birth that was the father of American football? 47. April 7th, 47. Folks, can you see that? It's undeniable. And what's Tetragrammaton? It's the God of the Israelites. The God of the Old Testament, the God of the New Testament. The God of the Old Testament, it was originally written in Hebrew. I mean, there it is, folks. Yale is a 10. Here's the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. You know what this is? It's the Yod. The first letter of the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, this is the Yod, the Y, 10. And the 10th letter in the English, it's the letter J, which is where Jehovah came into play. Yin Yang, the God of duality that runs football, runs sports, takes all the energy. Rabbit card, the rabbit hole, if you follow my research, tied to the 113, the prime number of the 113. Folks, it's all there. It's tied to sports, tied to your football that you love probably so much. I mean, even their logo, folks, the Yale Bulldog. The Bulldog. Look at when you break it down, folks. Bull and dog are both 14. Time and God are both 14. The time God. The God of time, Chronos, Saturn. The Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, the Tetragrammaton. That's who runs this box that we're all in, runs sports. All of it. So it's the Bulldog. Dog is God spelled backwards. But it's the Bulldog. The bull in the Chinese zodiac is the ox, which is what the year we're in right now. Look at it. Ox is 39. Tied to that Y in the Yttrium. Tied to their Yale, their Y, their first letter. In the Western astrology, it's Taurus. Taurus the bull. Taurus is 22. Tied to titanium, Saturn's moon. 47, Tetragrammaton. Can you see that, folks? And we're bringing this into sports. I know this is a little off topic of the Super Bowl, but I didn't want to leave this out because this is important. This is what's running your sports. Secret societies, sports, religion, they're all in bed together with the God of time. 28 is linked to 33. When you go into the string of pi and you type in the number 28, you're going to notice it's found at the 33rd decimal digit. 33 is not an evil number per se, folks. It's part of our DNA. And I think this is my last slide, folks. It is. This is the establishment date of Yale University. October 9th, 1701. Another layer, folks, to show you once again that man's not doing anything because there's too many moving parts. Too many. So October 9th, the card, and let me just be very transparent, is the King Clubs. Let me just show you the boilerplate chart of the cards. Here are the 12 months running horizontally and then the 31 days running vertically. And let me zoom in. October 9th, here it is, Yale's establishment date. October 9th is the King Clubs card. The King's Clubs card, folks, in the lineages of the cards, is the 26 card. It's the 26th card of their establishment date, and look at what it's a match to directly, folks. This right here, by the way, is the original spelling of the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh of the Bible. Starts with the letter Y in Hebrew. It's 26. 26, tied to their establishment date. And of course, the 26th element is iron. If you do your history, when did the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh come out on the scene? The Bronze and Iron Age. How about that? What a coincidence. And there's that master number 55. I mean, you could clearly, some of you say, well, yeah, Super Bowl number 55. I mean, yeah, there's a tie in there for sure. But Secret Destroyer equals 55. I mean, this is the number of a lot of things. It runs the throat chakra. Like I'm speaking to you right now, and I'm using my throat chakra in the Vedic. Well, 55 is a higher octave of the 5, but 5 is the throat. 5, the 5th chakra is blue, and blue is the most dominant color in nature, and that's the color of Saturn. Chronos, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. I mean, folks, this is undeniable stuff here. Undeniable. Even October 9th is 109, and that's going to give you the 29th prime number, which is tied to this right here. Keep your eyes on that Chaldean. Yaldabaoth. There you go. And Yaldabaoth may be running and overseeing everything. Or it just may be the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh in a different form. Kind of watered down or a little bit. I feel Yaldabaoth kind of is the originating point of it all. But there it is, folks. I mean, it's undeniable stuff. And this is where sports is all playing tribute to. That's why you have the halftime shows and the symbolisms. And, clearly during the halftime show, The Weeknd, he's sitting there and he's inside of a gold room. I mean, folks, it's gold currency. They're dancing around in a room that's made of gold. And his name is 27, which is currency tied to Jupiter. If you get into, I got a decode coming out on Jupiter ascending. So, folks, I mean, clearly, is this all organic? Well, do we have any say in this? Maybe, but not coding it at this level. All sports. The reason why all these great decoders are putting all these numbers out there, and they're finding all these discoveries with the numbers. And once you look at them and through your vantage point, I look at it through mine, it just strengthens the story to show you man could never code it. Because once you get all these layers compiled together, it would just be that much more complicated for man to code and to get all these synchronicities. It would just not be possible. So anyway, folks, what is it that you saw during this presentation? I'd love to hear your take on everything that you saw, your observational points and whatnot. But this is just another prime example of man being used and just carrying. Man doesn't write the blueprint, they just carry out the blueprint. Like you have the architect. That's why it's called the architect of the universe, because in architecture, I should say, you have the architect who drafts up the blueprints, And then if he's building a home or a building, he'll then give those blueprints to the builders who then go in and build it out. But they have to build it to code and all the structure that the architects designed it as. That's how our world works, folks. Macrocosm, microcosm, we're just being used to play out the script that's already written. And all of these distractions through sports and movies and music, they're all mining us for our gold. That's the way this works. So anyway, folks, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality, and I thank each and every one of you for watching.